Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Griefdrums, and welcome back to another episode of Top 3 Tips. In today's video, we're going to be breaking down a couple of different tips from around the Siege community in the hope of helping improve your game. So before we get into the video, I just wanted to say I stream over on Twitch 3 days a week on Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays from around about 8 PM BST through till pretty late. Alternatively, you can follow me over on Twitter, where I post all sorts of weird and wonderful clips from the streams, as well as information of how you can keep up to date with videos and things that are coming out on the channel. Without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump straight into this week's tips. So tip number 1 for today is going to take us onto the yellow stairs door on Consulate, and we're going to head down to this barricade here. So by pausing on the barricade right here, we can see that it's made up of individual slats as shown by these red lines, but the ones that we're going to pay attention to are these ones right here. Now this top line, if you go ahead and punch it directly on the line, you're going to want to punch it right where this arrow is. This will open up a nice section of the barricade, and then if you go ahead and punch directly onto this slat right here, it should be one entire slat down from the punch that you did previously that has left a hole there. You will then be left with something that looks a little bit like this. As you will have seen, when we punch those out, we get a nice big segment on the left-hand side of the barricade that is about crouch height. It's the third slat up we're going to hit here, and even though the bottom slat is intact, we're able to get the majority of our body through this and actually go ahead and peek out. We can move our whole body through it if we want to, but this is a really cheeky way to catch anyone coming out of this spawn. They're just not going to really expect to see you there, and quite frankly, anyone that's coming out of this spawn the normal sort of way, I guess, or the more common way, as they get around to here, the top of the barricade looks like it's closed. You don't really give this a second look. You look at it and think it's okay, and then out of nowhere someone can just jump up and appear from there. And that is all down to this little tactic right here. One really good thing to do as a defender is if you just wait until you hear the camera get shot, give it about 2 seconds tops, and then go ahead and spring out from behind the cover. This technique allows you to see a lot further out than you would normally be able to from this doorway, and like I say, by having it closed, most people won't even be able to spot you. But as you'll see here, I am currently sat in the door frame. I'm outside of the actual yellow stairs. I'm outside of the barricade, but I'm not being spotted as a defender. So this does give me this extra advantage almost, and quite frankly, I think this is one that's going to get patched when the devs notice about it. Until then, you may as well use it to gain that advantage. Now, to tie into the first tip, I kind of wanted to take a look at Wamai. Now, Wamai is pretty much a hard counter to Nomad, but it's an interaction that we don't really see that often. On maps like Consulate, if you go ahead and chuck Wamai discs or magnets just outside onto the Pro Balk, you'll notice that it is grabbing the air jab, and not only is it grabbing the air jab like it would with any other sort of throwable, it's also destroying it once it gets it. This is a phenomenal interaction. With Nomad only having 3 of these, to be able to catch her out and get rid of some of them, it's going to leave you in a much stronger position later on in the round. If you've got a Valk that's trying to run out onto the balcony to get people off connector, knowing that there aren't any air jabs out there, that's pretty handy. Further to that, this can tie in directly with the first tip. By throwing one into this bin just down here, you know that if Nomad tries to air jab you at the beginning of the round from somewhere that you can't quite see, it's something you don't have to worry about while you're trying to contest onto the spawn. Next, we're over on Canal, and this is one of those maps that it's very easy to rotate around due to the number of staircases, and it can be quite difficult for teams to sort of keep track of everyone. The yellow stairs, for example, down here is somewhere that a lot of people like to transition around. You can get a good line of sight onto the yellow stairs, and just staying here and controlling this can be a pretty handy move for anyone that's trying to hold a flank. If you're trying to push someone out of the copy area, putting someone on this side, they get a good view if someone goes running down those stairs. But the interesting thing is just how far down those stairs you can actually see. You're going to be able to catch people out by opening this up, especially if they're playing over that side of the map and someone's doing sort of a late flank. It's very rare that they're going to look up onto this section of the roof. So it's worth giving it a try. Open this window up, stand up here and just wait a little while. If the defending team has anyone roaming, I'm fairly confident you'll snag that person. So the final thing we're going to cover today is an audio cue that is inside of the game, and it's something that I have known for a very long time. I thought it was common knowledge, but after a conversation with a couple of people, It turns out that they didn't know about this. So I kind of wanted to break it down a little bit and explain it a bit further. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shoot the wall just next to where Mav is standing, and then we'll shoot Mav and listen to the differences in sound. Now, I don't know if you can tell the difference there. When I'm shooting the wall and it's going through and not hitting anybody, there is quite a high-pitched, hollow sort of sound to the shot and the subsequent sort of hit onto the wall. Whereas when it's going through and actually hitting someone, whilst we don't get visual indications like in a game such as COD, we do instead get audio cues. And this can tell you that you are in fact hitting someone on the other side of the wall, and it can be pretty good for knowing if someone is there. You'll notice a lot of times that people pre-fire certain walls and, soft walls, and out of nowhere they'll say, one's in bathroom. And people have said in my stream, how did you know he was there? Well, this is how. I've heard the audio cue that I am hitting someone on the other side of the wall. Now, in the broadest possible terms, I'm going to try and showcase this in a way, I may exaggerate it just so you get the idea, but this next clip over on Theme Park is on a terrorist hunt, and quite frankly, I want you to try and figure out when I'm actually hitting the terrorist and when I'm not. Now, it does make it a little bit clearer as the wall starts to get opened up a lot more. You can see that I'm physically hitting him, but try and listen to the differences in the audio cues to see whether you can pick up on it as well. Now, you may not be able to hear the difference just because obviously through YouTube it's going to make it a little bit tougher, and obviously I utilize a headset when I'm playing, but the sound differences are there, and it's something you could pay attention to. If you are hitting someone, you will get a lower thud sound, so try and listen out for changes in the rounds that are hitting walls that you're shooting, and if it does make a lower thud sound rather than the maybe slightly higher pitch sound that you were previously hearing, pay note to that, pay attention to that, because it can give away where enemies are if you weren't 100% sure. I'm afraid that's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully there's something in there that you can take away. Hopefully there's something that you can learn from this video. I appreciate there is quite a range of tips within this video that are hopefully going to cover a varying different skill level. Some people are going to look at this and go, yep, I knew all of that. Other people are going to look at it and say, I knew those two, but I didn't know that one, for example. So hopefully there's something you can take away. If you did enjoy the video, please consider hitting that thumbs up. If you don't already, make sure to subscribe for all things Rainbow Six. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay reckless and relentless.